It's a quick video showing it with some 1/18th scale vehicles. Got the Tumbler and the '89 Batmobile on it. Alright, so this video just shows what I'm using to make this. It's just a piece of sheetrock. And you pick the size you want. Mine's about 38 inches by 13 inches. I just had a spare piece. But if you want to cut it, you can use a drywall knife. But to get straight edges, what you want to do is like use a straight edge, like a yardstick or something, and then get a razor, and then you would score it. Press down on it and then score it with the razor on the paper side. Really either side, but once you score it, then you put it on to like a shelf or something, and then you hold it, and then you can hit it with a hammer or just pop it with your fist, and it'll snap into straight edges like this. All right, so next I'm gonna paint it. So I'm gonna use 2 coats of stone texture paint. I've got the paint on here, the stone texture paint, and got 2 coats on there. And see, I like it with the edge, kind of edge of the drywall stone, because it looks kind of like a cutaway of the street. I'm gonna go in with black, and any kind of black. This is a flat. This is a satin. You can use flat works best, or matte. And then you want to hold the can about a foot or so away, and then spray it, mist it on lightly on the lighter areas to try to get it to kind of look mostly black, like asphalt. So I'm gonna take it outside and do that next. All right, so now I've got the first line mask off. I'm gonna do the white dotted line, and over here I'm gonna do the double yellow line. But to mask it off, you just want to measure it, get something that's gonna be kind of the scale you want or close to it. I'm just using this Batmobile. This is a 1/18th scale, so I want 2 lanes. So I just kind of split this double lane part in half, and so I'm going down the middle of that. And then to get it, I just space these every 1 inch, and they're 1 inch long, because this whole thing is about 38 inches. And now I've just got some white paint. It's just some paint I had. It's like for baseboard trim and stuff like that in the house, but any kind of white paint will do. I'm just going to use this little sponge, dip it in there, and then just do like 1 coat on each of these, and then let that dry, and then pull the tape off. All right. Alright, so I got the tape off, and what I did, I took a little razor blade and I went around some of the paint bleed just real lightly, and it also adds to kind of the weathered effect for the road. And you don't want to go too deep, because there's paper under this. But you can go a little bit because you got that coat of the stone texture on there, and just kind of lightly scrape some of the really bad edges where it bled, and I think that helps add to the weathered look for the road. So now what I'm gonna do is kind of do the same thing with the yellow, mask it off, and those will just be straight solid lines, 2 of them, and the same thing with the sponge, and then I'll be back. All right, one other thing you can note, I did have to change this a little bit. I had the white lines spaced every inch, and I thought that was too much, so I went back in and just every other one I pretty much erased. And the way I did that, I just put some black over it, and then I went back in with the stone texture, and then I lightly misted some flat black over it, and then I just touched up these whites with a brush with my paint, and then just a regular brush by hand. But I think it looks a lot better with the spacing here instead of every inch, every 3 inches. So that's 1, 2, 3 inches, and then these are 1 inch. So I think that works with the scale of this board that I'm using. Alright, so what I did for the double yellow line, you want to measure this, make this the same distance. And I put 2 pieces of masking tape, and I use a straight edge and a razor to cut these 2 lines in the second piece, so that this middle strip will be masked off. And now I'm just peeling it off real slowly. Alright, so for the paint, I got this mixed up at Lowe's. Let's see if it'll focus. It's a custom color, and I used the in the spray paint section, they had the actual paint that they put on the street for the yellow lines, so I just got them to use the cap and mix this up. It was like $3 for 1 cup. And so again, I'm gonna use a sponge and do just 1 coat on it like that. Alright, so the paint's still wet, so I'm gonna unmask it. Hopefully it didn't bleed too much. Alright, so yeah, it bled in a couple spots, but overall it did pretty good. And I use this tape. This is a frog tape. It's yellow. It's for textured surfaces, and it's supposed to work pretty good for textured surfaces. I didn't use this tape. I used regular masking tape for the white, so that's why the white bled a bit more. So if you can get some of this tape for this surface, because of the texture, stone texture, it'll bleed less. But again, you can take like a little razor blade and clean up a couple spots if you want, if it's real bad. But I think this looks pretty good. And the final step you can do, I'm not gonna do it. You could take like some of the flat black spray paint from about 2 feet away and lightly spray over it to kind of weather it some more. I think this one will be fine for what I'm gonna do with it. But you can do that if you want. Here's a quick shot, some 124 scale vehicles. Got a Paganiwara, Jada Metals Barricade, and then a custom Galvatron. I still need to redo that custom. There's some improvements I want to make to it. But all right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more customs and videos. All right.